Good day, good evening, Mike. How are you, my friend? It's been a while. Let me just figure some stuff out. How do I wanna? Where do I wanna? And I think I'm streaming on this kick.com as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think I am. Right, I am. Yeah. Can I like pop out chat from all those places? Yeah, I guess I can. And then I guess I can pop it out from here as well. Yeah, beautiful. And then I guess what I can do is do something like this. And then there was another one, right? There's kick.com. I don't actually know if I need this crap. I don't think that anyone's gonna be watching there. Let me just try. How do I do this now? Ah, shit. Give me 1 sec. Right. Come on. Sure. All right, never mind. Let's just do that. Let's actually close this crap, maybe. Yep, and let me get the Twitch chat here as well. 1 sec. What the hell, no. All right, great. I guess that should be that, right? Does that work? Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. All right, superb, great. Let's see. Amazing. There's something still where we need. We have that. Yeah, actually, so let's actually close that. That's good. That's good. That's great. Let's close up a bunch of this crap. Let's see where we are. Okay, that's good. Blah, 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 blah. What did I want to do? Okay, let me get some water here and let's start doing something. Okay, great. Cool. So let's see what we do today. Let me just close a bunch of this stuff. There's also some stuff here in the top that I want to close. Yeah, let's actually leave that. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so let's see what we can do today. Add backtube extension and tip tap and allow sanitizer return there an iframe. So we've actually, let me just clean up a bit of this stuff. So we actually done this before. Let me put this mic over here. All All right, let's see, figure out a way for people to use their bits. Yeah, let's just remove this noise. Real tag system, thank you. Improve, thank you for signing up. You add Twitch badges, so no more we can get there. All right, cool. Well, let's actually figure out what we want to do. Hopefully more people are going to join soon, then we can discuss some stuff as well. Let me just quickly skim through some of those places here. Get a feed. So actually what I want to do maybe today, let's try Vite test. I wanted to add Vita test. So let's do something. It's Sunday. Hopefully people are going to join the stream soon, then we can discuss some things. Beta test your project. Yeah, so let's kind of start something. I don't know, just random stuff. PMPMI-D beta v test. Great. Let's see. It's recommended to install a copy of it in your packages using the method listed. But however, configuring on the domain, the advantages is unified configuration with Vita presents. If present, Vitas will read your root file to match with plugins and setups, blah blah. Beautiful. For example, if your Vita results create alias plugins, amazing. All right, beautiful. Let's set it up. Install from VS Code. Okay, beautiful. They have this as well. Ah, nice. vtest. There's a plugin for vtest. Let's install that. vtest. Run and debug vtest test case is beautiful. Okay, let's see what else do we have to do. Let's go back. Examples. Okay, great. So let's kind of set up React enzyme, React storybook. Interesting. Let's see, what is this React storybook? Because we're using storybook as well. So let's see if we can somehow kind of, yeah. Cloning repo from GitHub. All right, let's see. The React example, all right. Interesting. All right, let's try something. Let's try to set up some tests, right? One thing that I would like is, at least now when we're setting it with the v test, is that I don't want my all tests to be in the same directory, right? So let's try a bit with ChatGPT, right? So new chat, blah, blah, blah. I am setting up vtest, and I'd like to have my tests in my React app located in respective folders instead of having it all flat in a single test directory. And you generate some form. Good, okay, great. All right. vtest, let's try that. Now let's try to find some dummy component that we can actually start writing tests for. Let's imagine given this component, write some tests for it. All right, cool. So let's get this, and let's go here and say avatar.test. Actually, let's just say JSX instead. Let's actually go here and say JSX, JS, and eventually I guess we're gonna have TSX. So let's try running this npm test. Let's see if it at least attempts to run it. Okay, good, it does. Beautiful. All right, and I suppose the reason why this failed is because we don't really have the testing library installed. So let's try that as well. pnpr-d testing. Ah, shit. Failed to load URL, avatar resolved in. Alright, so probably, yeah. Okay. Let's say avatar. That would be correct, I presume. Let's see now. Describe is not defined. Okay, that's interesting. Why would describe not be defined? That makes absolutely no sense. Avatar test. Did you set vtest command line to run mode? This extension requires watch mode to get the results from vtest API. Does it have the ability to append extra arguments? Vtest output. No, I cannot. No. vtest run mode. Interesting. All right, let's research that a bit. All right. Why would the scribe not be defined? That's pretty strange. Let's take a look at that. Very super strange. All right, let's get back over here. Let's just set it up properly. CLI, vtest foobar, yeah. Let's actually get here. So we install the stuff. Configuring test. What do we actually have to configure? Add test property in your vt company. We also need to add a reference to vtypes using triple. If you're importing, define content from the vt itself. Alright, never mind. So I guess we will not need that after all. So let's get back here. Workspace settings. Okay. Fine. We'll run different projects inside the same project with a workspace. You can define a list of folders, blah blah blah. Also don't care about that. Command line interface, ID integrations, basic, play online, React testing lib. Let's actually see. So here it is. Here's React testing library example, I suppose, right? So let's see what we get. User events, React testing library. Yeah. So we'll need some dependencies, it seems. Describe it and expect are all imported from vtest. Well, if they are, I'm not getting any intelligence, right? It's just a person on. Let's imagine that this is correct, and it seems to be. Okay, great. So I guess test as well, and it. Okay, beautiful. Let's see about it now. Document is not defined. Okay, well, I guess we're missing some DOM. Yeah, we're probably missing this JS DOM. Yeah, so let's install this as well. 25 gold. Good day, my friend. How is life? Yeah, just trying to kind of do an early one today, and then just chill out later. Exactly. Okay, so let's take a look at their basic example test. Where is the actual their Vita config? Globals true, JS DOM, setup file, setup TS, source test setup, testing library JS DOM. Okay. Do I have to actually use the testing library though? Don't they have like yeah, here's their basic example. Do I really have to use? I don't think I have to, right? Yeah, exactly. So this is pretty much what I really want. Whatsoever, this is not going to be sufficient, right? Because this is sufficient for testing utilities and stuff, and we're going to use this. But we actually need something with testing library actually as well. Nice, man. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so let's just set this up. So if we go, let's just mimic this, what they have here. So I'm gonna go to, gonna update my vita config. So I'm gonna go to vita or whatever you pronounce it. I'm gonna do this. And yeah, I actually don't know where do I want to put this file. It's gonna be JS in our case. So let's actually create a directory indeed somewhere around here. Let's call it test. And let's create a file called setup.js. And let's kind of get over here as well and mimic whatever we have in here. So we're gonna do this. I think we have installed that already, so that's okay. So hooks, yeah, we don't care about any of that. So let's go back here. What else do we have? JS DOM, CSS true. Define config vita client vita. Yeah, we don't have those references. I suppose we need them as well. So I'm just gonna go up here and smack them somewhere. All right, let's get back to that same thing. Let's go to there. So we have the that thing, that setup thing there. So that's the setup, right? Yeah. All right. Beautiful. And yeah, the render screen utils, test utils. Okay, what is this utils thing? All right, this is some sort of magic or some shit that I don't like. Custom render. Yeah, I don't actually want that. So let's try without that. So pm dev. The pandas person, thank you very much, buddy. Ah, shit, that's not what I wanted. pm test. I'm not sure what SSE is at 25 gold. The pandas person, good evening, buddy. I'm also not sure what if you mean event emitter, am I using event emitter for the system? Yes. I'm not sure what server-side event is. Do you mean like WebSockets, a regular event emitter? I'm not sure what a server-side event is. Failed to load URL. Okay. Well, that's I would just call that HTTP, right? So I mean, I just fetch the notification like any other thing, right? So if that's what you mean, then yes. Source. Okay, so it's because, yeah, the path here is inaccurate. Okay, well, yeah, enabled find element with an alt. Yeah, so that's actually okay. I think we are kind of setting it up slowly. So that's okay. Let's go back here, right? So let's just comment out all these tests. We're just setting it up for this project now, so right, it's perfectly fine. So pm test. Okay, so this one passed. Interesting. So expect screen get role image to be in the document. And that's actually true because, yeah. So actually, so it seems to be working, yeah. Seems to be working, yeah. So let's see about this now. Actually, let's also try this extension. Didn't we install this Vita extension for tests, right? I think we did, right? Testing, yeah, this one, right? Let's try running this now. Okay, that's actually pretty good, yeah. That's actually pretty good. So the extension seems to be working, yeah. Let's try again. Yeah, okay, great. So yeah, so let's see now. So what is this? Renders fallback avatar with no source provided. Screen get alt by text. Get by alt text. fallback avatar element, alt text, John Doe. Okay. All right. Well, this is obviously failing because we don't really have such. We're asserting something that we don't really have there. I don't want to have any alt, but this alt here basically. Ah, I see. Okay. So yeah. So technically, yeah, this should be passing, right? Let's try to run it again. Renders fallback avatar with no source provided, undefined actual, and then it's saying, hey, unable to find an element with an alt text John Doe ignored, right? So let's get by alt text. Okay. What is the screen? An element for that. All right, let's ignore this test for a moment. Let's keep on going. All right, so this is also passing, right? It seems so at least. Let's see about this one. Yeah, so all of them are passing except this one. Renders image when source is provided. Alt text, example, avatar size to be in the document. Okay, image avatar element to have an attribute source. I see what's happening. I see why this test is failing, right? It's very logical. It's failing because I guess, let's see. So there's no source. Yeah, and then does this boring avatars, does this actually take an all? No, it doesn't, right? Probably. Yes, so it's okay, right? But it has a name, right? So let's see. Name. Yeah, I suppose it has some sort of a name. Let's see, props, context, any avatar props, size name. Yeah. So let's update a test to say get by actually I don't know this API. I never used this testing library, so we'll have to learn. But essentially, yeah, it's expected that it doesn't find it now because this avatar now does not take any alt, right? So we would have to find it somehow different, right? Be in the document. All right, well, we'll get rid of that because we do not expect that. Okay, but anyway, I think so the library kind of works, and that's really good, right? So let's try some more stuff. Let's go to our utils, right? We'll have to kind of reorganize those utils anyway, right? But let's try to just write some tests here, right? So let's just say test utils.test.js, right? And let's just let's just go to ChatGPT and say generate tests for this as well. Let's see how we're gonna. So let's just set up some of the stuff today, right? Ah shit, I've reached the limit on. All right, cool. So let's go there. Let's get over here. Let's do this, right? Capitalize first letter from exactly. And then let's just do those imports. I think for the most part, we actually don't need anything fancy here. We just need the describe and test and expect. So import, I guess, from the test, right? And then it's going to be describe, test, expect, right? Now let's try that. Okay, great. So it is running this file, right? So that's pretty good. Let's just call this capitalized first letter. Then actually we should be able to just execute this here and then see it here in the right passing, right? All right, great, beautiful. Okay, so yeah, so basically we did set it up and that's great. Now I guess we'll just have to now we'll just have to basically over time. So we will be doing TDD, I guess, from today. And that's the beauty of automation. We'll be able to just test, get display name in the same fashion as. We can automate a lot of stuff now. And yeah, so let's kind of try to do that. Get display name. Yeah, we can actually just execute the stuff here as well and see if it's passing. Returns an empty string. Okay, so one of them is failing. So let's see, returns an empty string. Get display name. Okay, so we're not actually covering that edge case, right? So let's just say something like this. Let's say const args is this. Actually, it's args, right? And we'll so we'll not destructure in place, and we'll say, hey, if no args or type of args is not an object, or if exactly we just want to return an empty string, right? So now if we run those tests again, they should be passing. Let's rerun this. Can we just rerun that one? Yeah, and there we go. So that's great. Okay. So that's pretty good. Let's go back here. Are we actually using this anywhere? Yeah, we are. Okay. Are we using unflattened still somewhere? No, let's clean that up. This valid URL, so we're not using that anywhere. So let's keep nuking this useless stuff. Oops, let me actually just make sure. Yeah, it's valid URL. Let's see, tags to ID. We can get rid of that. Navigate to new article. I think we are doing that exactly. Get synced at tooltip text. All right, let's actually test this one as well. Get relative dates. Yeah, we should definitely test this one as well. It's great. So let's go to this test file and let's see what happens here. Does it all fail? Does it all succeed? Test result not found. If you said beta, yeah, okay. So something's... Ah, shit. Yeah, that's actually good. Okay, try that again. Okay, so they are actually passing. Let's see what it wrote. Returns the correct message when GitHub sync expires is not provided. Okay, that's good. Returns null when GitHub provides something that is a past date. Assuming this is a past date. Okay, great, beautiful. It's pretty good. Okay. What else do we want to do? Yeah, so let's get back to the utils. Vanet, thank you very much for the sub on YouTube. Thanks, buddy. All right, so let's get back here and let's keep on writing them or copy pasting them. Get relative date. Created ago. Is this even exported? Let's see. It is. Okay, great. Get relative date. All right, let's see what we got here now. Get relative date, so we have some. Okay, let's try running this. Created a go. Expected undefined, actual plus 1 day ago. Okay. Returns an array with converted dates when data is an array. Jarvis, thank you very much, buddy. Returns an array with converted dates when data is an array. Created at blah blah blah. Get relative date. Array is array to be true. Result length to be length. 1, 2, 3. This is kind of useless test actually. Let's rerun that again. Expect have our display dates. A string returns object to convert the date when data is an object. Returns the same data when data is neither an array or no object. Okay, let's see actually how did I handle that. So if it's an array, otherwise return the same data. Okay, that's correct. Okay, so that's great. Vince, oh my god, it's been very long, man. What's up, dude? How's life? It's been super long. Yeah, actually, I'm not gonna test that because that thing is tested. Simp, thank you very much, buddy. So let's get back here and let's actually remove this one. I believe we have a bunch of utils all over the place, right? We're not going to do all of that now. But over time, we should basically have all the coverage, at least for the utils, because they are super critical, right? Yeah. Okay, well, great. So that kind of setup now works. So that setup now kind of works. Pretty good. How about you? Good, man. Good. Standard stuff, honestly. vtest UI. Okay, what is this vtest UI? Let's also try that ourselves. pnpmi-d vtest UI. Oh, no, never mind. Run test UI. Ah, okay, so I see. So let's also have this ourselves. So let's go to package.json. Let's add this thing here, and let's say pnpm test UI as well. And I suppose we're gonna get, oh, okay, so cool. So basically we also got yeah, and then you can kind of click and see what's happening. Okay, I see. That's actually cool. That's pretty cool. And then you can rerun the tests as well. Okay, well, that's a new thing that I've tried. Okay, what else? Is there something? JC, good day, my friend. Jarvis, hi, I'm trying to convert monolithic AngularJS front into why? Just wanted to know what is the purpose of doing that before most. Just before we get into the discussion, why do you want to convert it into micro frontend? What do you think that the benefit is going to be? I just want to kind of understand your reasoning before we maybe get into discussing it. Why do you want it to be micro frontends? Okay, so we kind of got this. Yeah, so this is great. Oh my god, Leo and Jace at the same time. I just implemented some testing now, vtest test or whatever. Back in Finland. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. Okay, beautiful. So there's render hook. Nice. Nice. That's pretty cool, actually. That is pretty cool. Okay. So, okay, let me try one super crazy thing. Because those types of things I would really like to try and see how we could test that, actually. So where's the hooks? We recently implemented this use query our own. Okay, so let's go here. How would one test this hook using vtest and React testing library? Mark, good evening, buddy. Nice. Okay, beautiful. Nice. Okay, wow, that's pretty cool. Let's try that. I would be super happy if this would work. So let's say here, use query.test.js. We get this thing inside. Let's actually get the request imported in here. Do this. Run. Shit, I don't know what's happening with my mouse. Super crazy stuff. Okay, let's I guess. I see. So we need to mock the service. Beautiful. I agree with that. That's okay. Do we actually have this installed React hooks? No. So let's make sure we get that in. So pnpmi-d testing library React hooks. Okay, that's not too terrible. It's failing just because of this, and that's okay. Where are we using the hook? Ah, here. Let's just import it properly. What? Oh, never mind. Okay. So, well, let's actually try running it here instead. It's complaining when it's empty. Performance is not going to get better. I mean, why? There's no reason why breaking things into multiple projects is going to make your project perform better. Now, is it going to ease development? Also very questionable, because then you have to switch between different projects, have different dependencies and stuff. So, I mean, I'm just saying, be very certain that you want that, or at least try to understand what micro frontends are fully. I'm not saying that you don't, right? But Sushan, good day. Pixie Boom on YouTube. Thank you for watching, guys. I'm gonna get back to your comments in a second. But number one, Jarvis, I would just say make sure 100% that you wanna do that. And if you decide that if the reasoning tells you, okay, that's what you want, then I mean you need to think through modules, right? I mean, that's not there's no such thing as called micro frontends or micro backends. That's just an invented term. You just need to break your project into multiple repositories, into modules, and then share those modules across them, right? So there's really, because you asked, if this is possible or whatever. Of course it's possible. There's no such thing. That's not a framework or whatever. You should be writing modular code anyway. You should write code in such a way where you should at any given time be able to break any sort of end into something smaller or meaningful. For example, I'm using Fastify.js for my API, and Fastify.js is kind of plugin based. So if you write it naturally as they suggest, then you can break it down into microservices, for instance, in any way you like. So it's the same with your front end. You should be writing your front end anyway in a modular way, so you're able to break it down, right? Break it out. So of course you can do it. You just need to break it into meaningful modules, right? All right, so just going back to this command line, please check, did you... Jest, yeah, I guess we're missing jest. Ah, okay, I see what's happening here. Save jest DOM. I wonder if it's complaining that we're missing jest though, right? I don't know if we actually have to import it. Import from jest. Ryder Johnny, thank you very much, buddy. So we may, okay, give me one moment. Hi, I have just learned web dev a few months ago. I've learned HTML. I mean, everything is hard until it's not, right? So just keep on working and keep on practicing, and there's no shortcuts, right? Every day, just keep showing up, keep doing things, and just keep working, and things are gonna come. The most important thing is that you just build things all the time, right? Not everything is hard until you master it, right? It's been hard for all of us, right? Jest is not defined. Okay, I see. My pleasure, Jarvis. I mean, I didn't necessarily help you much, but I just want to make sure that, yeah, number one, you know why you want to do something like that, because a lot of things today, a lot of people today, they hear a lot of this crap somewhere online, and then they think that they have to do it as well. Micro front ends, mega front ends, this front ends. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, right? All of those patterns, if I can call them, they come with something positive and something negative, right? So be very careful about breaking down your project into very micro things, because every time you break things down every time you break things down into smaller projects, it becomes more annoying. Developer experience becomes annoying, right? Same with microservices, right? When you have a monolith app, it's a lot easier to work in some sense because you don't have to switch between different projects, right? But so yeah. But why the fuck? Why do I need just one? Yeah, no, I mean, there seems to be mock request actually coming for v-tests, right? So it seems to be fine, I guess. Yeah. So it seems that actually there is something here. I don't think we need jest, honestly. It's just, yeah, ChatGPT kind of lagging a bit. So where is this? Oops, mock. Let's see what's happening. Mock request, yeah. Okay, that's funny. Why is this still here? All right, so let's just obviously just work with one test until we just figure out the setup for this project, right? 4, of course. Why would I use 3, right? I use 3 only if I reach the limit. You should never use 3 if you don't have to. Cannot read properties on the find get. So yeah, so this mock request kind of fails now, right? And let's see what this guy says. Imported to test. You can follow these steps. Install v-test testing library React. Create a test file. Okay, request. Because v-test runs in Node, mocking record request is tricky. Web APIs are not available, so we need something that will mimic network behavior. We recommend mock service worker. Actually, this is a good library. I've used this recently. So yeah, so actually I want to use that. In fact, mock service worker, beautiful. That's perfect. Great. I love that. Amazing. Very good. This is a very, so basically this library, right? This is in simple words, just the service worker interceptor. It intercepts the requests basically and responds, right? So this is pretty good, actually. That's amazing. Okay, let's actually do that. So let's say pmpmi-d. This thing, right? This is a very good library, very clever library. Yeah. I don't need GraphQL. I need this REST thing, it seems. Shit. Now let's see how we use this, but I'm actually super eager to learn this now. So wait a minute. So we do the rest.get, blah, blah, blah. Then we have some context, just like in Go. Beautiful. Ah, okay. I see what's happening here. Okay, sure. I see. All right, cool. But we don't really care about the response data now anyway, but we will make sure that we just Ah, shit, we have to set up the server as well. Shit. I see, okay. Nice, actually, they have a beautiful. This is kind of what they have. Okay, great. That's great. So let's take a look at that. So they have the mock. So here's their mock server, right? Beautiful. So this is how you set up this MSW, right? And then they have the handlers here. Yeah. So this is how you mock your API, right? Okay, beautiful. That's actually pretty good. Just now I'm thinking how to structure this, right? So because we want to set up the server once and then, right? Yeah. So let's actually go here and let's say let's do it our own way. So let's call it mock service worker. Actually, I'm just going to be very explicit. I'm going to say mock service worker, and here I'm going to say server.js. And then what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to follow pretty much what those fellas did. So this is handlers, and I'm going to have the server. So I'm going to pretty much do exactly what they did. This is my API. Let's go back to the front end, right? So I'm going to do this. We have this installed, and we can also break down handlers here as well, or we can break it into the main type of stuff. But let's keep it simple now. So let's say handlers, and then as they grow, we're going to break them down into something more manageable, right? Because putting everything in one file, you know, long term would, you can assume, become very hard to maintain, right? Okay, so let's go to handlers. Beautiful. This is calling JSON placeholder. It's okay. And then basically we're gonna intercept, and instead we're gonna render this. That's kind of the point of it, right? Then we have some handlers here. I guess we registered these handlers there, yeah. And then, okay, so that's fine. Let's go now to some tests, I guess, yeah. Yeah, over here. I'm not gonna be using any clients of any sort. Okay, mock handler. So here it is. Let's see, posts. Fuck, okay, that's not very useful. Let's see here, next step. Mock REST API, yeah, exactly. So let's see, request handler, handlers, request handler, post login. Shit. Now we have to start the server somehow, I suppose, right? Mock operates client-side by registering servers responsible for requests. However, we don't have to write any of the worker's code by ourselves, but rather copy the worker file distributed by the library. Blah blah blah. All right, let's try this. So this just sets up some service workers. So I guess we don't actually care about that at 1%. Okay. Common public directories. Vita, beautiful. Salty fish, thank you very much, buddy. Configure worker, okay. All right, let's kind of, yeah. Wait, let's see what they're doing. Touch survey. Let's kind of do that as well, right? I suppose. So let's actually nuke this because that was for node. So let's set this up. Right. Where's the mocks? Mocks. Did we create a new directory? Hopefully we did mocks. Yeah, here it is. All right, let's go back. Shit. Yeah, I see. But actually, that's not what I want. I don't want to do this. No. I don't want to start that in development at all. Yeah, I don't want to do that. No. I think it's way too much. All right, maybe I'm a bit bored off of it. Let's see if I can actually bypass this somehow, just for the sake of this. And then I'll do this off stream. So let me just do something like this. I'll just mimic it, so when I actually sit and do it myself, it's gonna exactly be like that. Yeah, exactly. Let's try something like that. Rest.get is not a function. What the fuck? Should be. Oh, wait a minute. This is not an object. Okay, my bad. Okay. Thank you very much, lazy dev. Okay, actual now. Object expected. Okay, let's see now what's happening. Expected. Expected. Okay, let's wait for next update. I don't know what the fuck does this do. Use query render hook. Okay. So get URL, resolve data, response. Let's try running that again. Expected null to be name. Okay, and what is this result? Current data. Okay, so basically that's because we need the mocking thing to work, right? Yeah, that kind of sucks, right? Wait for next tab. I don't know what this render hook does. Let me see. T props. Here results. Yeah, I'll need to kind of read up a bit about this because I've never actually used this API, so I don't know what does this actually do. So this is some generic thing. So it's so essentially for testing hooks, I'll need to set up. Yeah, exactly it is. But I'll need to set up this service worker, this mock server thing. I'll do this off stream just because I don't feel like doing it now, and then we'll be able to test those hooks a bit easier, right? So actually, let me just go to our backlog and just let's say here set up mock service worker with vtest. Actually, I'm just gonna move this to progress. Let me move this here. Let me just reorganize this stuff a bit. Okay. All right, cool. So I'll do this off stream. So it's one-time setup, so it's fine, right? But I'm actually pretty happy to use it. This is a pretty cool, pretty useful library for this sort of stuff, right? So that's good. All right, cool. So yeah, in those few minutes, basically, we did set this up, so that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna be now spending the rest of the time in today's stream writing tests, but that was actually pretty easy. And also we have this thing, and we did actually, with the help of ChatGPT, we did write maybe 20 something tests. For this sort of stuff, I guess what we're gonna do for now. So I'll actually get rid of that. Just say request here my own, and then I'll need to mock this with the actual yeah. So let's just make sure that this still fails, but that's actually just commented out, right? Yeah, and now it's just complaining that there's no test in here. Okay, beautiful. Let's do one thing with our CI, right? So if I go to GitHub and take a look at my CI, shit. Wait a minute, Cloudflare vtest run. Actually, yeah, I completely forgot, yeah. Continuous integration. So let me actually also add this there. Give me 1 second. Run vtest on Cloudflare pages. That's another thing. So we'll basically we'll obviously need to run those tests during the deployment, and we'll want to fail if they fail, right? Obviously, right? That's great. That's great. Just give me 1 second because I pushed a bunch of stuff to production before the stream. Just have to check if it actually all is still fine. Yeah, it actually isn't shit. So I thought that I actually, yeah. Error following user. So yeah, I guess we messed something up. That's super strange. Give me 2 seconds. Ah, shit, that's not what I wanted. All right, let's get back here. Why? Yeah, that's super strange. So it seems that the migration that I actually pushed maybe didn't happen. Maybe didn't happen in production, but it should actually happen. Let me try. Programmers, let me try this. Yeah, so something is messed up. Maybe the migration file that I pushed didn't run. It can't actually check that out. I'll check after the stream, it's okay. But I can see that, yeah. Alright, cool. Before we move to something else, does anyone have any questions about anything on YouTube or Twitch? When are you going to make a desk tour video? I mean, I could do that this upcoming week, I think. I think I could do that, yeah. Why not? I mean, yeah, I think you've been asking Jace for a while now. So yeah, I think we could do that. All right, so going back to this, so I'm gonna leave this for now. That's actually great that it works, and we'll need to just test a lot of other stuff. Especially this hook, I want to fully unit test. This is the most important one we use like for everything, pretty much for all the forms and stuff. So I badly want to test this one, like very much, very much. So that's great. We have that. That was relatively quick. I did work with Ansible 3 years ago, or 2.5 years ago when I worked at the Technical University of Denmark, at DTU. Yeah. I'm not using Express. I mean, you should not be using Express ever again unless it's a legacy project. Like I don't genuinely believe why are people teaching new developers to use an obsolete framework. So that framework should be removed unless, again, you're maintaining a project that's several years old, right? So I'm not using Express, I'm using Fastify, but yeah, I'm still using Node.js. And I'm not using MongoDB, of course, because MongoDB has a specific use case which doesn't fit. You would not use MongoDB to build a social platform, right? That would be the biggest possible anti-pattern you can go with. I mean, Ansible is fine, right? I mean, when I was at Technical University of Denmark, we used it for storing all sorts of secrets and also all sorts of stuff, right? But I mean, I haven't really... Many people, many opinions. Can you be more specific, Frank? Because I'm not sure. But I'm not sure, because I'm not sure what you mean. Can you be more elaborative so we can have a discussion? Because I'm not quite sure what you mean. You didn't say much, honestly. And this is not about opinions, this is factual. Everything I say here, I try to be factual. I don't have opinions or feelings about code. I try to be as precise as I possibly can be. Add our scraper to tip tab. Yeah, so this is kind of something we will need to do soon again. What is not as simple? I'm not quite sure what you're referring to right now. It's 100% simple. I mean, if you're referring to MongoDB not being suited for social platforms, it's 300% simple. It cannot be simpler. It's unstructured, unrelational data, and it's not meant for that use case, right? So it's very simple. I mean, if you're referring to that specific comment, I think it's 100% simple. Technology exists to solve different types of problems. MongoDB is an amazing database that solves very specific problems. Postgres is a great database that solves another problems. Neo4j is a great database that solves some problems. Cassandra is a great database that solves. So all of those databases, they exist because they solve specific problems, and there's nothing really opinionated there. It's just factual. You don't use schemaless database that has no joins, that has nothing, that has no behavior whatsoever. Yeah. But it's not an opinion, but you have to be more specific. It's not the same. What do you mean it's the same? Can you tell me? I mean, maybe you're right, but you didn't say anything concrete, so I'm not sure. You just made very vague statements. I'm not sure what exactly you're trying to say, right? It starts also with your opinion about Node.js frameworks. Be more specific, right? Then we can discuss it. Okay, I think this is actually done. Yeah, but that's a very vague and baseless claim. I'm very sorry. I'm not trying to be rude, but that's a very... I'm not exactly sure what you said with that, right? People have different opinions. Sure, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, but it doesn't mean that just because you have an opinion, it means something, right? So I mean, everyone is entitled to have an opinion, sure, and everyone has the right to have one. But just because you have an opinion doesn't mean, yeah. But I mean, that's not how you discuss technical things. You don't just say, well, that's your opinion, right? Yeah, well, but you said nothing, right? That's still very baseless, right? It says really nothing. You're saying it's all the same. Well, why don't you go and write Pascal, right? Why would you then do anything? Just go and write, assembly, Why go ahead and build websites in assembly, right? Are you a swimmer? Are you a carpenter? I don't get it. What do you mean we don't have the same? I write assembly and I build websites in that. So can you send us a website that you build in assembly then? Can you send us some websites that you wrote in WebAssembly, in assembly, actually, not even WebAssembly? I want to see that website running. Yeah, go to website. I mean, Frank, you're just talking bullshit, man. I'm very sorry. I probably know what V8 is better than yourself, most likely. But you're just writing baseless things. You're just writing fog. That's what I call fog. You haven't said anything past 10 minutes. If you go and read your own statements, you literally said nothing of technical value, right? You're talking about opinions and different backgrounds, but you didn't claim any concrete factual thing. Well, I mean, look, that your behavior is very strange because I don't really look. Nobody here understands what you're saying, Frank, right? Nobody has an idea what you're talking about, right? What do you mean databases are deprecated? Like, what does that mean? How they are deprecated? Nobody, I don't think that there's a single person here that understands what you're talking about, honestly. All right. Let's move on. I see. Okay. Okay, so let's see what else could we do in this Sunday stream. So one thing that I saw here now is, which is the latest thing that I pushed, is exactly this issue. And it would be actually nice to get some logs on it, but I don't. Error following user. So let's actually see. If we get basically here, error following is what could have gone wrong here. Models, user, followers, create, following. Do we actually have any logs? All right, never mind. So we can't do this. I need to actually add it here. Following is broken in production. Let's close that up. Any other interesting discussions? Anyone has anything they want to discuss? Well, Frank, you know, we can't wait until you build that amazing database for us, for the rest of the stupid ones. And then when you do that, just share it with us, and then we're going to be super happy to use it. Until then, until you do it, then we are stuck just using databases that we use today. But you know, when you end up building that, whatever you're talking about, then I'm personally going to be the first one to use it. Send it to me and I'll use it here in the stream. But until you do that, to me, this is just bunch of talk, just bunch of fog, right? I call it fog, right? Because I have no idea what your point is. You're just using complicated words, right? But you're saying nothing. I'm not exactly sure what is the point that you're trying to make. So what should we do? What should we do as developers today? Should we stop building products and invent databases? Okay, but can you just say at the end, what is your point? Can you in one sentence say, what exactly are you saying? What do you mean you should use files? Who am I? I should use files how? I should go to my work tomorrow and tell to my CTO, let's use files. Is that what you're saying? Okay, so I should go to work and millions of other developers, and we should tell to our bosses, hey, we want to stop using. Okay, so we should all just stop doing. Okay, so we should. Okay, so is that your point? Is that what you're trying to say? So we go to our bosses and we say, hey, let's stop using Postgres and Mongos of the world. Let's just write things in files, right? Cool. Okay, I'll do that. If that was the point, then great. Yeah. Can you send us such a system that you built? Can you send us something that we can access to see how you done it? That's great. Can you send us some system that you've built that uses exactly that? I'm not asking about what Linux uses. I'm asking you, can you send us projects where you are doing that? Because you're obviously telling all of us to go to work tomorrow and remove years of knowledge and software and start using file systems. So, you know, sure, but I'm not that's not the question. I'm not asking you that. Okay, but that's not the question. I'm saying show me the projects where you build web-based projects. How is it silly? Well, didn't you just suggest to all of us to drop the databases and use file systems? So I'm asking you. I mean, I'm asking you a simple question. Can you show that you're telling us to do? That's a simple question. I mean, why do you have to write so much? No, but I mean, I'm asking you a very simple, logical question. If you're suggesting to all of us to do that, I'm asking you, show us the projects where you are doing that. Isn't that completely fair? I think that's more than fair. Like, if you're suggesting that to me, I'm asking you, show me the web-based projects where you scaled your own version of a database like that. That's the only thing. Show me the project that you've built that has thousands of people using it every day, or millions, where that works. I mean, it's a super fair question, right? Because you're telling all of us to stop using databases and start writing to file system, right? You've built Pornhub. I somehow doubt so, right? I somehow doubt so. So you cannot send me something, right? So, and that's exactly my point. You're just one of those people who just talks crap, but can't show up for it, right? And I have a lot of people like that coming to the stream. They're just talking. They're just like, you should do this. This is how you should do things. And then when I ask them to show that to me, they can't, and you can't, right? So why are you suggesting something that you can't show yourself? That's silly, right? I mean, you know, you have to put, you know, your money where your mouth is, right? You cannot just say things baselessly, right? Yeah. Whatever. I have no idea what you're talking about, Frank. I'm asking you, just if you praise something, if you're sharing something, show it. Show it to the rest of us. And that's it. That's the most honest and most logical thing. Good evening, Banix. It's like, I love those people when they join the stream because they just talk. They're super good at talking. They learn those words and things, but when you ask them to show something, they can't, right? Because they don't do it. It's like those Rust guys. Why don't you rewrite your API in Rust? And then I ask them, okay, show me the API that you wrote in Rust. And then they can't. They just disappear. They're gone, right? So it's just like a bunch of bullshitters, right? Just a lot of talk, right? Just a lot of fucking talk, no action, right? Easiest thing, sit behind the screen, be professional programmer, and then when asked to actually show up for what they're suggesting, they're nowhere to be found. Ridiculous. And I'm the kryptonite of those people, because I always call them out. I'm always gonna call them out because I don't give a shit. Bexy, good evening. You know, Frank, that I'm right. Otherwise, show me that I'm not. Well, you are funny, not me. Because you made baseless claims that you can't support by anything. I mean, prove me, right? Well, I mean, dude, like, all of us are asking you, Frank, show us that you're preaching. Sure, but you can do that, great. I'm just asking you, Frank, show us one project, share one repository where you did what you're saying. It's not. I'm just telling you, show me the project. How easy that would be, right? You send one link. I mean, it's so easy. Yeah, show me something somewhere. What did you do? I mean, you appear to be this software god of, I don't know, some sort of a holy galactical developer, right? No, man, but show me the patterns. You're telling all of us here, to go to work and tell to our bosses to drop all the database in a new use file system. And I'm telling you, show me where you did that. Show me one project where you did that with a team of 20 people, right? But that's not the question. That's not the question, man. You keep avoiding what I'm asking you to do. I'm saying send something that you did where you avoided databases. So all projects on the planet don't use databases. Is that what you're saying? Is that your claim, that nobody uses databases today? Everybody is storing things directly on a file system without going through this abstraction. Is that your claim? You're still saying nothing, Frank. We all know that things end up on a hard drive. I think my grandma knows that, but you're still avoiding questions, right? But I'm not talking about Git, Frank. I don't care. I don't care what's implemented. I'm asking you to show what you did. I'm asking you to support your claims, and you can't because you did nothing. That's it. Show me the project where you did that. I don't care what Git did, right? He can't. And I'm always calling them out. Frank, we have determined here that you did nothing that you claim or propose to us that we do. And that's the only thing I wanted to call you out for, right? Right? So that's the whole point. Now, I don't care about anything else. Indeed, I don't care about GitHub because that was not my question. I don't care what GitHub does. I'm just saying you couldn't support your claims. And that's the only thing that I care about, because you're selling fog. You're selling this type of influencer type of thing. Do as I say, but don't do as I do, right? It's like, and that's it. That's it. You lost, Frank. I won. Okay. But listen, guys, let me tell you one thing. Go to your bosses tomorrow and tell them, ask them, let's completely drop databases and let's just write manually everything to file system. It's a very smart business idea, very intelligent. Your startup is gonna suddenly start making billions of dollars of money. It's a super great idea. So tomorrow, you know, when you go to work, tell to your boss, listen, boss, I removed all of our databases and now we're gonna actually manually write shit, right? Yes, we're gonna invent all of those layers from scratch, validation, security, transactions and stuff. It's a very great idea. Just tell that to your boss and say we're gonna make a lot of money because this makes all the sense. Just tell them that. Yeah, 25 gold. I know I pushed something right before the stream. I broke something. I need to fix it. So I'll fix that after the stream. I broke production, exactly. Exactly. So tomorrow I'm gonna talk to my CTO. I'm gonna tell him I met this genius guy Frank. He suggested that we just remove all the databases. I'm actually gonna, you know, I live very close by to Google's offices here. I'm actually gonna just tell them to give up on all the services they provide on GCP. I'm gonna call Jeff Bezos to just tell him to drop all the database support on AWS as well, because it's clearly we're all fucking idiots. And this guy, John, he is the one. He knows the way. So I think we all have some work to do tomorrow. It's gonna be great. Can't wait. Let's. There we go. Fuck databases. Let's remove them all. Oh my fucking god. I've never heard anything as stupid as this. Literally for 15 years in my career, I've never heard as anything idiotic as this. I swear to God, and I've heard so many stupid ideas. But this is like the top of the hill by far, right? It's really like... Frank, I implemented more databases than you, man. 100% I did. I must have, because you didn't show me anything. You're just talking, bro. You know what's the difference between you and me? I'm sitting here and coding in front of 50 people. You're sitting behind your screen talking shit, and you're unable to support a single of your claims. Of course it wasn't. Of course it wasn't, right? Of course it wasn't. I'm not gonna, you know, I code for business, right? I like to provide business value. Reinventing a database, you truly need to be dumb to even think about that, right? To reinvent something that exists for 30 years for no reason at all. So to me, it seems that you never had a job in your life, right? Really? Sacco banned him. Rip. No, dude, like what the fuck? Why did you do it? But it's a Sunday stream. Even in my description says no more shit. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, Sacco maybe got fed up with it. I wouldn't have banned him because he wasn't rude, right? He wasn't rude at all, right? But yeah, it's genuinely it's the most idiotic idea, and so I'm actually now starting to think after Sacco banned him, was he actually just trolling or was he serious? Because I don't think he was serious. I don't think that there's no chance he was serious, right? I don't think so, right? But I mean, yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't think he was serious. There's no chance, right? No, it's just that the thing is, man, like, okay, he was trolling 100%. Okay, I hope he was. But the thing is, right? I like talking about this shit, right? Because I hate people who just talk, right? I genuinely hate that. I hate that at work. I hate that in real life. I hate that. I hate those perfect programmers. You know, people who just like, if I was you, I would just do everything, right? But it was fun. It was fun. Now, you know, the only thing now that I'm wondering though, about is how did I break following and stuff, right? Yeah, actually, that's super strange. Super strange. Wait a minute. Give me 1 second. Unfollow me on live. This is one of the most amazing streams so far, for sure. Give me 1 second. Fucking amazing. Oh, no. Ah, shit. Very strange. Okay, what the fuck? Docker container logs. I mean, I love trolling in general. I mean, especially for having fun. Of course, I mean, this stream still has to become, you know, useful to people, of course. But I think time to time, I honestly, like, if you look at if you read even the description of the title of the stream today, it's just Sunday. I actually I want to have one day a week where I can just talk to people, and at least those who are serious. The saddest thing about that type of people is that they waste a lot of time. But you know, like, I think that the saddest part is that I actually want people, especially maybe even less experienced people, to use the time that I have here to help them out, right? So that might not be fun for maybe junior developers who would much rather try to learn something than talk and argue like we're children, right? Loading configuration. Okay, what the fuck? Why are my logs actually fucked up? That's super strange. So this was actually migrated. Sako, man, thank you, buddy. Send grid content with, or may not be escape with 3 characters. But what the fuck happened with my logs? All right, never mind. I'll need to fix that later anyway. What I wanted to do. Let's actually just check while we're talking shit anyway. Just give me 2 seconds. Let's actually, because Jace was mentioning Google and stuff. So yeah, it's actually true that we are kind of getting slowly found on Google. Vim tutor, programmer, NeoVim, best way, pages, programmer network. All right, cool. Actually, Pascal was I think Pascal was my first programming language, I believe. I think so, if I remember. It was Pascal in my elementary school, like when I was maybe 10 years old. We actually, back in the Balkans, we had Pascal very early in school. And then it was C, I think it was Delphi C, Visual Basic 3, PHP 3, C++ for several years with Qt. I think programming, I think software design patterns are actually incredibly useful, right? I think the design system questions are incredibly, so algorithms and data structures, in my opinion, are useless, right? Whatsoever design system questions are very useful, but the best way you can practice those is to actually build things, right? So for example, building your own event emitter, or building your own, let's say, tag system, like in a platform like this, building your own. So finding some of those cases where you actually have to build a feature, because that's, I think, system design is actually really useful to know, right? Because you will actually oftentimes want to build some of those things manually yourself and not depend on some third-party service. Algorithms and data structures, I mean, no knowledge is useless, right? I think it would be kind of shitty to say that knowing something is useless. It's not. But in reality, you'll never almost need to implement your own data structure or re-implement the algorithm and stuff like that. But when it comes to design system level questions, you will have to design some of those systems, right? So yeah, so definitely you should design patterns are actually very useful, yeah. So what, how the fuck did I break the, okay, shit, give me a second, fuck. All right, so actually what we could do is we could try, yeah, let's try doing this, because I feel like we could kind of do a bit more work today before I round up for today. So for example, if I go to my Grafana, right, and if we go to my Loki logs, right, they're pretty useless, right? So I'm not actually sure why am I getting the lines like this, right? Because those logs are literally useless, right? So I think what I actually want to do, right? Yeah. So and I thought honestly that I did solve that because my logger is configured, and here is like error logger serializer, right? If it's custom error, if it's validation error, if it's equalize error, otherwise return error. So maybe that's what the issue is, I suppose. I don't actually know. The problem is I don't see any of those errors actually properly rendered in my Grafana, right? That's the problem. It's super useless. So how the fuck can we? So let's actually just change this slightly a bit. So let's change this Grafana query and say if res.status is how can I do or? Let me actually just see if I could do this. 6 hours, 2 days. Yeah, I don't think that's actually correct. No. That doesn't seem, let's actually give it a second, but I don't think that's correct. I mean, my tooling is working, right? That's not the point. My tooling is working. The problem is that the error. I mean, I write my errors in a file, right? I have file. I have like I have a file rotation setup, right? And I don't print to the standard std out. I just write to a file. So I mean, my logging is set up. The problem is that this is how the actual. So what I get in the logs is quite useless actually, and I don't actually know why. So that's not the problem. The problem is that something here. So this was essentially my attempt here. So in Fastify, right? In Fastify is using this C library called Pino. It's one of the fastest loggers apparently out there. And so my Fastify is using Pino for logging. And you can see here, whenever the error occurs, I have the serializer, this little function I wrote, and I try to kind of unify the errors, no matter what they are. Are they my custom errors, validation errors from AJV, another JSON validation schema, whatever? I always try to send the status code, message type, and then the stack, of course, so I actually know where the error occurred. So you see, what I anticipate to see in my logs is this, right? But I don't. I see garbage like this, which makes absolutely no sense. So I'm not sure why am I seeing this crap, and I actually want to see this sort of stuff. I want to see the, hey. So for example, now when I go to write and I try to follow 25 gold, you can see I'm getting this thing. And I would want to go right to my logs over here and say, okay, well, where is that? Let's see what it is, right? But we don't see. We see this useless garbage, right? It makes absolutely no sense. I'm not actually sure why. Why is that happening? Let's see. Fastify API. So you can see we're reading from the file. Well, I mean, I'm managing them the same way. I mean, those are the known errors to me. And if there's some exception that it's not known, it's still going to return this error. So the serializer is still going to report on that error, right? So we're still returning the error here. Those are just very specific errors that I want to deal in a certain way. So I have my own custom errors. There's AJV errors, which are semi-custom. I just adjusted them a bit. And then there's the sequelize errors, right? But either way, and then there's any other error that I didn't, right? No, I don't think so, no. I mean, it is handled, right? I mean, we are getting the errors, right? So for example, if we take a look at my, if we take a look here at the actual errors, right? Like you can see that we're getting them, right? Those errors are actually coming now. They're pretty live, right? So if we take a look and say last 5 minutes, right? So let's see, let's kind of try this a few times. So actually, yeah, it would be cool. You can see they're pretty much live, right? So you can see, but if I inspect them, right, it's pretty much useless, right? So let's take a look why that is, right? I would actually like to. What do you mean totem by multicasting? I'm streaming to 3 different places, yes. I'm streaming to kick.com, YouTube, and Twitch, yes. So why the hell are we not getting this crap? Is beyond me, right? I don't think they have changed. I'm not a partner, Totem. I'm just an affiliate, and I am allowed. Really? When did they change that? Are you serious? Oh man, that actually fucking sucks. I didn't know, man. Yeah, that kind of sucks, dude. I'm probably gonna stop then streaming on Twitch, just out of principle, right? Wow. Okay, that's really bad, man. I mean, then maybe I should just continue streaming on YouTube. I'll have to think about it, right? That's fucking stupid, man. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm gonna stop, but that's. I mean, Twitch is kind of digging their own hole, right? I think this platform is gonna die slow death, right? I think it's ridiculous, right? That I think doing those things is genuinely ridiculous, right? Because I mean, this platform is useless money-wise, right? Anyway, for 99% of the streamers here, this is right. This is useless, right? So and now doing this is even more useless, right? So no, I'm not intending to stop streaming, don't take me wrong, but if I stop on Twitch, I'll then just stream on YouTube, right? And it's gonna be tough there, right? Because I think generally, I don't think that anyone is almost watching on YouTube, right? That's the if I go to YouTube now, there's like how many people are watching? I don't even know if anyone is even watching there now. How can I check that? Yeah, nobody's. So that's the problem, right? So YouTube is still pretty dead, right? What about this kick.com? I think I'm streaming here as well, but this is even more dead, I think. Yeah, this is like super dead, right? Why? Don't go and kick, okay. Well, I know nothing about it, man, so please tell me. I have no idea about streaming. Oh, shit, okay. Let me stop streaming there then. Stop, kick, yeah. Kick is a scam, all right, I didn't know that. Fuck, okay. Well, removed. Let me just delete that stream immediately. Delete it. I mean, yeah, we'll see. I'm probably actually gonna still stream on this shitty platform here, and then I'll just upload VODs. I'm just gonna record them, and then I'm just gonna upload them to YouTube manually, right? So I guess that's what I have to do. I guess there's no other way, right? But it's, yeah, I think what Twitch is doing is pretty bad. I think yeah, I mean, like I said, it's pretty horrible, yeah. I mean, I think it could be good for me if some of you guys who are watching me could find me there, right? I mean, that I have like, what, 3.3 thousand people following me on Twitch, but that would be very difficult, right? So we'll see. I'll have to think about it, right? I'll have to think about it. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, let's actually just get back here. Where is this error log serializer? Yeah, it's super easy. I'm gonna also with removed database. So no databases and no stream. Yeah, no, we can't use. Yeah, it's gonna be great. What did I want to do? Yeah, let's go to ChatGPT. How bullshit is the concept of serverless? I mean, honestly, like the thing is, I think for me, I think one good characteristic, at least that I think that I personally have, right, is that I'm, and genuinely when I say this, I'm like 300% prone to, or to say, allergic to trends and stuff. Like I never gave a crap about serverless. I remember very well, I used to run advanced JavaScript meetup here in Copenhagen maybe 5-6 years ago, and back then serverless meetups and stuff started happening, and I never gave a crap, right? Not because I was skeptical, it's just like I never really had issues with servers in such a way where serverless was actually solving anything particular in for me, right? And I still don't have today, right? Now this notion of super micro endpoints, like you have some super small service that's all responsible only for sending an email. I mean, that thing exists. I used to build Node and C# and .NET and Go services like that very long ago, where you just have a micro something that, I remember having a static website that I just needed an ability to submit an email, so I would build my own one, right? So I mean, I don't actually know. I don't. When I hear serverless, I mean, to me, it's still a server, right? It's just a lot of fancy bullshit, right? It's still, yeah. I don't. At least that's my take, right? But in general, I think I hate solutionism, right? I hate creating artificial problems and then creating solutions for them, right? I don't actually know what serverless is solving, right? At all. Sure, maybe, right? My biggest problem with, actually, paradoxically, Totem, my biggest issue with serverless, with microservices isn't necessarily anything architectural. It's just the development experience is horrible, right? For me, developer experience is one of the most important things for my team, right? When you break all of that garbage into multiple services, which for the most part are not, the thing is, for the most part, what I've seen in my career is that very rarely it's truly a microservice architecture. It's mostly, you know, just a distributed monolith. And that is fundamentally, I think, the issue why a lot of companies fail with microservices, because just breaking your monolithic app into microservices, and then when one of those services fails, nothing else works anyway because it depends on it. That's not microservices, right? So in simple words, it's really like, why are you doing it? What is it that you're gaining out of it? What does it help? What does it improve? Is it developer experience better? Is the uptime better? Is the downtime, right? So at the end of the day, if you can answer those questions, so I don't follow those things blindly, right? I think the Stack Overflow, for example, is still running a monolith. Those guys are still running a monolith. Various other companies are running monolith as well, right? So this is basically Stack Overflow infrastructure, right? This is literally how Stack Overflow works. Have a user, some service, Elasticsearch for search, Redis for caching, and some DB, right? They have 6 web servers, so there's probably some gateway or something that they have here, right? And that's it, right? And I mean, I just use this as one of the cases, but there are many other super high traffic websites out there which are still running monoliths and still doing it very successfully, right? In fact, probably most of them, right? Man, this is why, man. Fuck, maybe is this why? Logging level. The logging level is set to info. If the logs you're trying to view are of different level, debug error, they won't be captured with the current setting. Shit, is that maybe an issue? Can I choose multiple levels? Can I just include? Okay. For example, if you choose info level, it will log info warn error levels from lowest to highest tray. I see. Okay. Yeah, well, it just contradicted itself, but okay, we'll log over, right? Okay, let's take a look at this. I think this would be super good to fix, because otherwise... So, what do we have here? Fuck. Maybe that's an issue. No, actually it isn't, so that's fine. Serializer, request, error, Fastify, error, type string, message stack. So it's a Fastify error, I see. Man, so hard to actually debug this. Like, why is it like this? Wait a minute, JSON. And then what do I actually have here? Line format. Yeah, let's see what we got here. How come you don't have any suggestions? Super strange. So this is what we got. Request message detected. Request time, PID message. Request URL, request remote port, request method, message PID level. And if we actually go back there, so if we go back here, so level 30, what is level 30, right? That's line, labels, time. Line or incoming request, okay. What happens if I just do this? Nothing. Shit, okay. I don't actually know how to solve it because I don't know exactly where the issue is. But now we're actually getting method URL get. Log error. Where am I actually using this log error? Ah, that was an attempt somewhere, I suppose. Yeah. So I'm actually not using this anywhere. Okay. Ryan, thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate it. Then we're doing this. Yeah. All right, let's try one thing. Was it like this? Call me Alex Totem. Yeah, my full name is Alexanders, and yeah, if you can give me your name as well, would be cool. I always find those names on Twitch a bit strange, like hey, Hawk 11339. Emmanuel, okay, Emmanuel, got it. I hope I'm pronouncing it well, but I had friends before called similar, so I think it should be fine. Emmanuel. Mike. Yeah, when I see CXZUK, it's like exactly, 100%. Exactly. All right, let's just do this. Let's try error there. Like, I genuinely don't know what the issue is. I'm just going to do something like this instead. I'm gonna say ERR, and I'm gonna return this, and then I'm also going to, so actually what I'm going to do instead is I'm gonna remove this try catch here, and then I'm gonna wrap it around in here. So I'm gonna say try. If you're wondering why, it's just semantics, because yeah. And then here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, fuck, can I actually refer to the app here? No, I can't. So I'll just say console.log, console.error, right? Got it. Okay. Well, certainly better than calling you Totem. Okay, let me just try one thing here. So ironically, this issue that we have kind of does work locally, right? So that's always kind of works on my computer type of stuff, right? So why would it work here and not there? Okay, that's then slightly different. All right, so let's try this. Change log level to error. Let's try pushing this, because seriously, I've spent one entire Saturday, maybe a month or two ago, setting up this whole stack, and it was painful. I had to do it manually, so I had to set up the whole Grafana and Prometheus and Loki and a lot of stuff, right? And Bear, an awful lot of people didn't know my real name. I think that's common, I think, for many places, right? I mean, I kind of use my name generally. I don't actually think most people know me by my name, and then they, instead of calling me Alexander, they call me Alex because it's just easier. But you know, my last name is Grbic, so people often call me Garbage, Cabbage, and stuff like that. So Garbage also can do, right, as well. Yeah, I mean, my last name is spelled like that, so people can often, it's like, oh, Garbage. I don't care, man. I'm the biggest troll on the planet. You have no idea what type of a troll I am. You don't want to even know, but not in a shitty way. Sarcasm and irony is something that saves me to stay sane. Like that Frank guy. I exist. I was literally brought to this planet to neutralize people like that. Like I feel that there is some force out there, and then, you know, we have to coexist. Like there has to be a guy like Frank, and then there has to be at least one guy like me, you know. You need this balance, right? You need this, there has to be people to, there needs to exist people to diffuse bullshit, right? And there's nothing more on this planet than that. Those Rust experts and assembly experts coming here and telling us all what to do, it fills my heart. It fills my heart. Why don't you remove databases? Beautiful. Beautiful. I actually... I said when I can write Rust in TypeScript, I'll do it. So some combination of WebAssembly. It's going to be a Rust and TypeScript and WebAssembly. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. People are going to suddenly start using Programmer Network because it's going to make all the difference in the world. Everybody knows that. Ah, shit, did we break production? Fuck, we did. No, we didn't. The thing is, Emmanuel. So around 4 or 5 years ago, when Rust kind of came out from beta, I worked with Elvis. Maybe he's also watching me. He was my tech lead back then, and him and we bought a book on Rust, the first book on Rust. And then we did a bit of Rust back then at home, and I tried building things, and I also tried building something in Rust maybe a year ago. When you try to genuinely build, let's say, a web server in Rust, and when you need basic libraries, right? Libraries like authentication, stuff that you don't want to implement yourself, you don't have the time for that, right? It's not like you're not a student. You need to. It's very difficult, right? So no matter how good or bad or amazing some of the things are, even if you would want that, I challenge everybody, go and try. Try to replicate an API, let's say, that you can build in Go and Node.js in one day, and see how long it takes you to build it in Rust. And I'm not talking about Rust as of just writing Rust plain, because that's simple. I mean, the community is not there. It's simply not there, right? So when you want to do basic things, nobody wants to reinvent authentication. I don't want to spend 2 months building my entire authentication system. How silly that would be. I mean, I would want to do that, sure, if I'm a billionaire and there's nothing else I want to do except write code and just do everything on my own, sure. But when you actually truly try to use some of those, under quotes, newer languages, you actually see how difficult it is to become productive with them, because it's just not there. And Rust is actually, it exists for very different reasons than building web apps, right? It's Rust, when it came out, its premise was to replace C, right? So it was supposed to make those C developers finally switch to something, because they hate C++, right? So it's like, okay, this language is now for those embedded developers who are writing drivers for CPUs, GPUs, etc., right? So if you truly want to suggest someone to switch to Rust, even though for the most part here we're kidding, then try to build the basic stuff that you do every day and see how difficult it is, because the community is not there. There's no libraries, there's no, and it's just, drop the database. Exactly, man. That's the problem, right? So when you choose a technology, if you need 3 years to build the most basic functionality because it's not there, you're right. The problem with that is, I think, Emmanuel, right, is that this is a very much rich text experience, right? So it's not just a plain HTML field. So I mean, I hear you. Let me just sleep over it, right? Sorry, basement dweller. Yeah, I'm trying to now, but we're not getting any logs now. That's kind of funny. So almost as if there were no error logs. That's super strange. Let me unfollow Jace and let's follow him again. Yeah, so I'm actually not getting any. Wait a minute, maybe. Wait 1 sec. Did I fuck this thing up? No. So let's just see all logs, right? So let's say save. Apply. Okay, so now we see some stuff. Okay, what? There we go. There we go. Nice. Shit, yeah. Nice. Good. So now at least something useful, right? Okay, and why is this thing automatically closing? It's like super strange. So here we at least have something now, and now we can actually use those logs to, okay. I will follow you again, I promise. Okay, let's just go to VS Code here. Let's see what we got. So we have the error message. Yeah. Error status code, error type, equalize error. All right, so let's try to now be a bit more clever with this. So given this, let's use ChatGPT and ask it. I agree with you, Emmanuel, 100%. I'm gonna actually, and publicly, yeah, getting unfollowed in everyone's faces. I actually removed 95 users this morning from the platform because they didn't complete their profile. I'm trying to keep, you know, I'm trying to keep it clean because I also don't wanna bunch of garbage there, right? Some people join the stream, they try it out, they never come back. I get that, right? Make it possible to. Let's just move it over here somewhere, so. Actually, I'm sad that Sako banned that guy. He didn't have ill intent. At least he was not rude. He was not swearing and stuff like that. So I respect it. I respect that guy for that. He was pretty civil. He was a good troll, but he was civil. And I respect that. I respect that. No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. But yeah. Let's try this. Man, ChatGPT, like, fuck, it's so good, man. It's so good. It's so freaking good, man. A few days ago, we had some Jesus Christ here who was like, don't you feel, you know, bad, unethical using ChatGPT? And I'm just looking at the guy and thinking, Jesus Christ, man. Wait, how can I, wait a minute. Can I somehow inspect JSON, yeah. Formatted data options. Wait a minute, JSON. Panel, no panel, data frame. No data frame. No. How can I get this? Explore more, explore. Okay. Give me a moment here. Certify JSON, yeah. Unique labels, no. Time, no. Irrelevant wrap lines, sure. Numbers, newest, oldest. I'll just see what I can. Honestly, huge difference, Emmanuel, huge difference. Like day and night difference, like insane difference. Can I like copy one of those files? Ah, I can. Okay. I guess, did I copy it? Yeah. Shit, this is too big. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out what to give to ChatGPT. I mean, yeah. The fields I gave you come from labels. I'm sweating here with those Elgato lights in my face. Those lights when I'm streaming are so freaking annoying, man. It's like, and it's warm even here in Denmark, which is kind of, I'm not gonna complain about. Let me just shut up. Should never complain about. Come on. Where is it? Or maybe, wait a minute. JSON, yeah. What log FMT does, I forgot. Yeah, I would be too much of a basement dweller, indeed. As I'm not now, right? Can I do this? Run queries. Shit. No, not really. Elias, good evening, buddy. I'll figure this out in a moment, I have a feeling. So we need to basically just get this labels field, and then from the labels we need to use, well, something, right? So yeah, there's a bunch of crap in here, which we've kind of messed up now. Run queries. Let's try that again. Log FMT. Thank you very much for the follow, man. I appreciate it. Log FMT Grafana. Do you use any real languages? I'm asked on I'm making, so Yuri, I'm not actually sure what a real language is, and what do you mean? Are you considering any security? This project is fully secured. I'm not actually sure what do you mean. So what is a real language and what is security? Someone asking on YouTube, you can actually see it here. He's asking if I'm using any real language. What do you mean? What do you mean? What am I using for security? Security has 10 different layers. Security where? System level, host level security, network level security, API level security, front-end level security. Which security? Right? That's very right. So a real language is a language that follows a paradigm that you like. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Everything is secured here. Spent a lot of time making sure of that. Authentication, authorization, I'm using basically not much. I'm just using auth, and I'm storing passwords myself, encrypting them and storing them. I'm not using any third-party service for that. So Twitch, LinkedIn, and GitHub are implemented by me, just using their official auth 2 services that they provide. And the password authentication is done by me, and I mean, there is no absolute, the thing is, there's this notion out there that there's absolute security. Such thing doesn't exist. Nothing is ever absolutely secured. Every month you can see billion-dollar companies leaking passwords and stuff like that. So I'm by no means stating that Programmer Network or any other websites for that matter is absolutely secured. Nothing is absolute, right? Except obviously human stupidity, right? But it's secured to the maximum extent that I could make, obviously, with the time and effort that I have here, right? Chorus, good evening, buddy. Of course I did, Yuri. Yes, I've done all of that. Yes. Dude, where the fuck do we find this, right? It doesn't mark. Actually, I have a card for that. It doesn't. It's just been changing a lot of stuff. I'll fix that, I promise to you, this week. For how long are you working on programming? I mean, the thing is, do you code C or are you just one of these scripter kids? Yuri, the way that you talk and compose your questions tells me that you're not very mature, right? Are you? Because you are, I don't know, or you're not very smart. It's either one of those two things. You're either not very smart or not very mature, or both. But no, I build websites in C, and I write CSS in Haskell, and I build all of my databases manually myself. So I don't use Postgres or anything. I actually, for every, I'm a compiler engineer. Okay, well, so let me ask you something, Yuri. Have you ever built a website in C? I respect that you're a compiler engineer and a language purist. I respect that. And that's great for you. But let me ask you something. If you had to build a website, how would you do it? So if you had to build a website yourself, Yuri, how would you do it? Would you build your own compiler and a language for it? How would you do it? I respect that you're a language purist. That's good for you, not for anyone else. But let's say that you had to build a website, right? How would you build it, right? Which technology would you use to build a website? Exactly. So if you go back to your question about which technology I'm using the technology that enables me to build websites, because that's what I do. If I was building CPU drivers, I would be writing C, because I couldn't use React to build CPU drivers, right? So that's why your question fundamentally is super flawed, because you're asking me, am I using technologies which you have to use to build websites? Unless you can show me the websites that you built in C or Haskell, I'm super eager to share them here with the stream. If you can send me some of the CSS you wrote in Haskell and C, I'm very happy to show it to everybody. For this project, I'm not using anything like that because, again, this is a web platform. If I do some other project that it's not a web platform, then if I'm not using so now, no, their answer is no, I'm not using C now because there's nothing that I could use C for in this context. If I had to do some other project where C would be suitable, yeah, I used to write C and C++, some Haskell as well, but nothing serious. But that's not what I'm doing now, right? Yeah. Chorus, good, my friend, good. My day was good. My son actually got a cold. He had a vaccine. He's 4 years old, so he had some of, I don't know which vaccine it was about. So now he has a temperature a bit and stuff, so he's been a bit weak today. But I've spent most of the day with my wife and kid, and I've been actually coding a bit off stream because, yeah, coding in the stream is obviously, as you can see, not very productive. I'm spending probably 70% of time just talking to you guys, which I enjoy a lot. So yeah, I spent a bit off stream today fixing some bugs on this project. Yeah, he's good, man. He's good. I mean, this is the vaccine that all kids have at age of 4 here in Denmark. So it's just, generally they say after maybe 10 to 12 days, it can be considered that it can happen, right? Imagine not coding your website in assembler. I actually did, I recorded some YouTube tutorial for assembler maybe a decade ago. Let me show you. I have this super old channel of mine when I was super young, and I actually used Motorola 6700 back then. Wait, let me find it. I swear to God. Wait. Ovens, my friend, good evening. Let me just find that video. I'm sure I have that video still. So this is me 12 years ago when I worked as a Cisco engineer. But give me a second. Where the fuck are my videos? Are they in this channel? Maybe it's a different channel where I had a bunch of those different channels. Give me one moment. Videos. There it is. This is 10 years ago. So this is DOSBox. I play a guitar my whole life. I play a, so this is my old YouTube channel like 10 years ago. And yeah, Blind Guardian is one of my favorite bands, yeah. So this is my like, but this is some WebAssembly. I remember, yeah, just recording a video back then. This was very long ago. Yeah, it did. I heard you talking about security. I love security. I mean, I wouldn't say that necessarily I'm a security expert like some people, but I think I have a good grasp of security overall. So I would say I rather am a generalist in relation to that, because I've done security as a Cisco engineer on that layer 2 to 7. I've done, right? But I'm not an expert, right? By no means. I'm not expert by no means, right? Is there anything else that I did? This was some C++ stuff. Yeah, some of those videos I recorded 8 years ago. I remember when ECMAScript 6 came out. Those are the videos I recorded. This is just different. And this is some Qt plus C++. This was also 10 years ago. And this is my most watched video ever. I'm so proud of this video. It has 166,000 views. And it only took 10 years, 11 years for it to happen. I'm so proud. Look at this. In Haskell, I only have some C++. How to write C++, how to write CSS in Haskell. That's the only thing I have. WebAssembly is its own thing, right? So WebAssembly is supposed to map to enable you to write, let's say, Rust, and then compile that into something that browser can understand, right? So WebAssembly has nothing to do necessarily with JavaScript. JavaScript runs on a V8 engine on the C++, the Chrome itself, right? So JavaScript is basically compiled by V8, right? And then it's using it's using yeah, whatever. I just want to really, before we round up, because I know that all of us have to work tomorrow, I would like to just figure out what the fuck is happening. Wasm is trying to rid the internet of this craze of JavaScript. I mean, it is trying, but it's failing miserably. That's the problem, right? I agree with you, Yuri, that it's definitely trying. I'm still waiting 10 years later. I'm still waiting. Basically, you know, WebAssembly is pretty much like cryptocurrency, right? For 15 years now, I'm told how just next year, you know, just one more year and crypto is going to take over, right? And it's the same with WebAssembly. It's just like, just wait another year and it's gonna just completely happen. But it's not, man. Chorus, thank you very much, buddy. Thank you very much for the kind words and coming by. I'll stream tomorrow, so if you have the time, just come by. You'll be working tomorrow. Got it. PyScript. Let me actually. Fuck, I actually don't know much about this. I think I saw this somewhere on LinkedIn, but I'm not a fan of Python. Python is probably the last language I would ever write. But yeah. I'm 35 almost. 34. Flash was the same. It lasted far too long, but it eventually passed. I mean, I think it's not a great comparison, Yuri, but you're right. I agree. I agree with that assessment, but it's vastly different comparison, right? JavaScript is a beautiful language, man. Maybe you don't know how to write it and that's why you hate it, but if you actually spend some time learning it, I promise that you're gonna actually start loving it. You can write JavaScript as functional also as you want. You can use lambda.js, you can use any stuff like that if you want to make it Haskell-like. But yeah, I mean, I think my assumption is that you just don't know JavaScript, and people usually hate things they don't understand, right? And I get that, right? I think JavaScript is actually a very beautiful language. It just runs in a shitty runtime, and that's, yeah. Sure, but that's, yeah. Sure. I just think that JavaScript generally can be beautiful language if you know how to write it. It's too free. For example, Go is my favorite language. I think Go is a beautiful language because it has constraints, and so if I could write Go instead of JavaScript in the front end, I would do that, definitely, but I can't. But apart from Go, my second most beautiful language is JavaScript. Equalize error. Okay, man, seriously, now I fucking need to focus for 3 seconds only. How do we unwrap this thing? Like, why are we getting this stuff? Why am I seeing this crap here, but when I try to unwrap this, like, where is this label? Let's go to builder. So file name, let's try this visual builder, because obviously I don't know how to, I don't know the Grafana query language, right? So file name is this, that's correct, okay? Job is whatever equals, that's irrelevant, right? This is completely irrelevant. Okay, here we have the JSON, add label filter, okay? Operator, no. Fuck this. The thing is, for all of the shitty JavaScript features that existed, you have a newer API that does work, right? So it's very true that there are many legacy things in JavaScript which are completely horrible, right? And I agree with that. But you have the same in C++. You have the same in nearly every language. Right, so if you go to C++ prior to C++ 11, for example, you have a lot of shit that's completely disgusting. It's worse than JavaScript, right? So this premise of perfection of some other languages is silly, right? If you write Go, for example, and when you look at the error handling in Go, like, you want to puke sometimes, right? Because it's also not very pretty. It's very good that you have to handle the error for every function you invoke. That I really love. But the thing is, you always have some language features at one point in the language lifetime that sucks, and then they're replaced by newer APIs, which is why it's important that you grow with the language, right? So it's like, if you take any spoken language as an example, probably even English, when it started, it had limited amount of words, limited amount of grammar, and then it grew over time with linguistics and all of that stuff. So why would it be different for programming languages? It's not, right? those languages also grow with time, right? And I think that JavaScript has outgrown a lot of those shitty features, right? The fact they have to exist because you cannot just fix them absolutely and then break half of the internet, right? That would be, so those languages have to be backwards compatible, not like Python 2 and 3. That was the worst fucking thing I've experienced in my life. That shift where nothing works anymore, right? You switch from one version to another and it's like all broken. That was the biggest idiocracy in programming history, I think, ever, right? But for JavaScript wise, you have a lot of great APIs that can cover up for the comparison issues that we had before and a lot of this stuff, right? You have this website like what the fuck JS, right? I don't know if you've seen it, right? And a lot of those things are very old, right? Like for example, 2 special numbers. I don't, whatever you click on, right? You're gonna be like, oh my god, what is this, right? I don't know, like, I'm not gonna go into it, but if you go to what the fuck JS, right? But a lot of this stuff is fixed, and you don't have to do those things like this anymore, right? But obviously you have to know it well enough to not be ignorant, right? And not be like a little girl, like a little bitch, like, you know, because I fucking hate that, man. All right. Okay, so JSON expression server. Dude, like, how do I do this, man? Formats, line filters, binary operations, formats, line format, label format, unwrap. Unwrap, okay, choose. Okay, never mind. Let's try something else. If there's any Grafana experts here, I'm all ear for some help. Line filters, line contains regex, no. Label filters, IP, label filter expression, binary, no. Formats, unpack, pattern, regex, range functions, no. Aggregations, no. So it's probably formats, either unpack or unwrap or some shit like that, right? Choose, no. Let's try unpack. I want this, basically this is what I want. I want to basically grab this from the labels and I want those to be the rows. I don't care about any of this. I don't care about this ID, all of this. This is actually stuff that we'd have now. I want to format this. I want to be able now to properly format this, and now we almost have like a Sentry JS type of feature. We can read all of our errors here for free without setting up Sentry or any crap like that. So I just want to now, so this is the actual error if I go to the API, if you remember, right? If we take a look at this error handling stuff, so now we're actually getting this. We're getting this sort of stuff, right? So we just need to kind of be able to get it right. But right now it's under this labels. What the fuck is the labels? Where do I get this from? That's the thing. That's what's kind of confusing the living hell out of me. Like, where is this JSON, right? And then I should be able to say absolutely not a problem, Yuri. Again, like I said, there are APIs that are gonna give you. Yeah, but it's clear that you've never built a project of any scale because you're trying to, you know what's the problem with people like you, Yuri? The biggest problem with people like you is that you provide no value. You don't provide any solutions. You're one of those people who gonna, even if that wasn't the case with JavaScript, you would Google for a year until you find something else that's negative. And that's the problem, right? Yeah, but compiler engineers don't build web pages, man. They build compilers. This is where your logic is fundamentally flawed. An average JavaScript developer doesn't give a shit about null being 0. Because an average React developer... I understand, yes, but I don't. And millions of developers don't, and we don't care that null is equal to 0. I mean, I don't disagree with any of what you said in a very technical, heavy sense, but that is fundamentally where you're. And I can see that you're a compiler engineer because, sure, Well, build something better, man, for the web, and that's it. And I'm not really saying this in a rude way, I swear to God. I'm genuinely saying. I'm saying this to you and all of you almighty compiler engineers. Build a better language. And we gonna be, we stupid guys who are building apps, we gonna be super happy to use it. Because I don't see the point of complaining. You either gonna... Okay, well, where is it? Share it with us. Where's the language? Share the link. Let's install it right now. Let's work with it. Euroscript. But that's only the issue for you, Yuri. Business doesn't have that issue. Companies that don't have that issue, right? I mean, I think this discussion can be observed like this. If we take our own perceptions of our jobs, both of us are right. You are, in your assessment, from your standpoint, Yuri, you're 100% right. You're 100% right from your perspective as a assembly or whatever, as a compiler engineer. You're right probably in your assessment that JavaScript constraints of some sort are not great. But those claims have no value because those people who use JavaScript, they don't care about those constraints not being great. And that's, I think, that's where your opinion becomes slightly less relevant, because we don't go to work every day and we're like, fuck man, I just wish that null wasn't equal to 0 because I can't do any work today simply because null is not 0, right? We don't, that doesn't happen, right? Okay, how? Let's do it. Unpack. What is unpack doing? It would be nice if we can hover over those functions that we're piping stuff to and just see error message. What message? What message? What? Inspect the data. Okay, beautiful. Sheet. Labels. You see, labels is some sort of an object, right? So it has to be fucking somewhere here, man. It has to. I know that it has to, right? Unwrap, line format. I think it's line format, man. Dot labels. It has to be. Please be. No. Okay, wait, someone sent me a link. Thank you very much. Give me a second, one moment. Thanks. But I don't try to do it, man. Like, I mean, the thing is, we're all adults here. Let's at least for the most part, I hope. I don't want to shut down anyone. It's just a very honest and fair discussion, right? I mean, if anything, man, if we call ourselves engineers, if we even allow to do that, it would be at least nice that we can have some intellectuals and fact-based discussions. I mean, I hear more and more about things about feelings, like that Frank guy. He was talking about feelings. He was talking about how opinions and stuff like that. But it's like, man, we're not talking about different colors or type of music, and you can say I like red more than blue, right? I mean, if you're making super hard claims, you know, that something sucks, because for both Yuri and you can see Frank and a lot of those people, there's one property that's common to those types of people. They have very hard opinions. You hear words hate, it sucks, it's horrible. So they have very kind of narrow opinions, very hard opinions, like not objectively evaluated opinions based on why is it like that, what does it serve to a business, what does it do to a team. It's like those people, as he called, and Yuri was kind of right, he called himself a code purist. He's gonna probably be out of job in 10 years because those types of developers are not gonna have anything to do anymore in today's world, because as the programming is becoming easier in a sense of writing code, because you're going to have AI, you're going to have generative AI from Google, those types of people are going to be obsolete because they know nothing about business, they know nothing about working in a team, they know nothing about product and building value for customers, etc., etc. He can sit at home, right? And, he can sit at home and write the purest possible code. But fundamentally, right, nobody cares about this. I mean, in 5 to 10 years from now, if you are a developer who doesn't understand the main knowledge of the product you're building, if you don't understand the value of what you're doing, if you're not product-driven, oriented, meaning if you're not obsessed by providing value to your customer, you're going to be out of job 100%, right? Exactly, right. So well Yuri, like the thing is, right, like you have to understand that people who at least talk that way and who call themselves purists are going to be out of job. This is there's no question about that. This is just a matter of time, because again, in very soon, in 5, 10, 15, 20 years latest, your job of writing some gibberish assembly stuff, writing some abstract syntax trees and stuff like that, nobody's going to care about that anymore. AI is going to be doing that 100%, right? Yeah. But let's see. Let the time come and let's see what happens, right? Okay, fuck my life, man. Why? Wait, someone else posted a comment. Oh, I see. Okay, interesting. So wait, panel options. Inspect panel JSON. Inspect JSON. You're 100% wrong, Yuri. You're 100% wrong. Because that is fundamentally what you don't understand. You don't understand that computers exist to support business, not vice versa. Nobody gives a tiny fucking crap, man, about your compiler. And this is kind of what you will sooner or later understand. Nobody gives a shit about your compiler, man. Because hardware is way ahead of software, and it's happening. So you can pat yourself over the shoulder, man. But I'm a person who builds products that you use, that your mom uses, that your girlfriend uses, that your friends use every day. When you take that shitty phone out of your pocket or you go to some websites, people like me are building that, right? People like me are not building something that 73 programmers on the planet work with every day, right? And that sort of mentality that you have is going to be pretty much the doom of the developers like yourself. That's the fundamental difference between you and me. I don't have such a your perception towards programming is completely wrong, and that is going to be your own doom sooner or later, right? That is what you don't understand. You don't understand that computers literally exist because of economy and business. Computers literally were made because of stock exchange initially, and math and physics, right? Are you writing military-based software, Yuri, now? I mean, it's always those arguments like pulled out of the cosmos, right? Well, if we go to the moon, we're gonna need, you know, completely twisted perception of why you think programming exists, right? But don't forget, every time you write that message in that shitty chat box that you're writing now, it's that language that you hate is used, right? But anyway, it's fine, man. I don't blame you. I genuinely want to help. I genuinely want to help. I'm not saying this because I want to offend you or anything like that, but I think your perception towards code is completely twisted. It's completely opposite in my opinion, in my experience. Ah, now you write code for banks. Okay, interesting. Gallantry X, good evening, buddy. I'm doing really well, just having fun here with a bunch of sweaty guys like myself. Can you try icon on top right of output table? Inspect our weight. So top right, I suppose here you mean... I disabled JavaScript on my browser, but why? Because of people of myself, Yuri. I asked you a very fundamental question, right? I asked you a very fundamental question. If you had to build web apps, which technology would you use? Just answer my question. What would you use? So let's say that you have to build websites. What would you use now? I really want to hear that response. So let's say that you have to... Could you check? But you keep repeating the same sentence, man. I don't give a shit how long have you been writing compilers for, man. You haven't shown anything that you've written yourself. I want to see it. You keep saying the same thing. If you keep repeating the same thing, it doesn't become more true, just FYI. You can keep saying that thing for 500 more times. It's not going to become more true, right? Over ID field. I guess here, right? Inspect, right? No, every time I ask him a concrete thing, he keeps repeating the same shit. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what the... If you keep saying the same thing, it's... So, when you became... Well, I'm programming for 15 years professionally, Yuri. So I'm programming technically 5 more years than you. So you're either 18 years old or you weren't born 15 years ago. But JavaScript has been out there for 25 years. So what was out there when you were whoever? So what was it there then? Tell me. So what was there when at that point in time then? Okay, well now you're not answering now we're not answering each other's questions. We're just talking over each other, so it's pointless. So it's pointless. Okay. Okay, you know what? Actually, this is not completely useless, I think. Yeah, this is actually not completely useless. Let's actually wait a minute. Yeah, this is not. No, I switched to a different view, right? And now we can see that this sort of stuff, right? Give me 1 second, give me one moment. How can I make this bigger? Okay, great. jQuery is JavaScript as well, so I'm not sure what you mean. jQuery is still used and it's still JavaScript. Thank you guys. Actually, my YouTube is like, our YouTube is actually starting to get some traction past couple of days. I think I had like 40 people subscribe past 2 days. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, amazing. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, well, now actually at least this is not entirely useless, right? So it's certainly not completely useless, right? Okay, great. So let me now go to production actually. Let's go somewhere. Let me just refresh. Let me try to follow someone and that should fail. Italian rebel. Thank you very much, folks. Appreciate it very much. Okay, let's see now here if it's gonna appear at all. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. I actually I didn't know the slug, MK slug. I didn't know about it until Emmanuel told me, until Totem told me about it, right? Unfortunately, so that's really bad. I mean, yeah, they are trying to obviously maximize their profits. It's clearly as day, right? That's why, right? And yeah, I mean, what can I say, right? It's just yeah. What can anyone say, right? You know, I'm fortunate that I do this for fun and I don't need to do this, you know, to survive, right? But I genuinely feel bad. I genuinely feel bad for people who do this full time, because this must be the most stressful, shitty job that you can have, right? Because the amount of money people make here, unless you're like super huge streamer, it's nothing. Like if you can work in McDonald's and you're gonna make more money 10 times, right? So you either have to be super young and have no obligations in life towards anyone to kind of do this and live off of it, because otherwise it's just ridiculous, right? What the fuck? Why are we not getting now anything? Last 5 minutes. No data. Yuri, I'm streaming on Twitch as well. I'm streaming on both places, so I'm reading Twitch. I'm reading 2 different chats. Okay, now I see them. Okay, that's super fucking strange. All right. Ovens, what type of job have you been looking for? No, I mean, Yuri is fine. I mean, I like the discussion, right? But I'm genuinely, what I'm trying to at least leave some viewers here with is that it's very dangerous to have that mindset, right? It's very dangerous because Yuri probably is a good developer, right? And he probably could be way more useful to himself and others if he wasn't fanatic, right? Because having that sort of obsession towards anything is not good, right? It's not good towards anybody, right? Because you're literally right. You're literally right, like limiting yourself in your full potential of what you could be, right? Okay, I see. Null value in column tag ID of relation user tags violates non-null constraint. That's why. Okay. You're a troll. But what is the fun in that, man? Like, we have a bunch of junior people here, right, that can learn something new and stuff. So it's kind of, I mean, I'm completely fine, right, I'm completely fine to troll with you, right? But it's kind of boring relative to other people, right? I don't think that anyone is laughing, at least not in the chat, right? So it's kind of useless, right? Because trolling is only fun if somebody's having fun, right? And I don't think that people are actually having fun, right? So you're either incredibly young or just have no sense of humor, or both, right? I see, I see. But no, I mean, locally it's not like that. So I mean, I find it fun as well, man. I mean, you make it easier for me to stream, 100%. But I mean, we take away the time that we could discuss with other people who have genuine questions, right? Let's try. No, so it's only, so basically, so today I wrote a migration script, right, that was actually ran in production. So, so maybe, give me 1 second. API, wait a minute, what was the error actually? What was the error? Null value in column tag ID of relation user tag violates. No, that's actually not the one. That's not the issue. Tag ID. No, that's not actually what I want to test, right? This is the shit that we have. Windows Linux subsystem is amazing, man. I have no complaints. It has been working like a charm for a long time now. I'm a young dev working in a large corporation. I have significant responsibilities and I'm the only front-end dev on my team, so I don't have anyone to learn from. Should I think about moving? Should you think about moving? That really depends, Anton. It really depends on how you feel at work, right? I mean, if you feel that you're not learning enough, then you have to identify what is it that you think that you should be learning. And then obviously you should talk to your manager about it before you quit, right? I think quitting should always be your last resort, because in many circumstances things can be sorted out, right? Right, so yeah, but before you talk to your managers, right, try to conceptualize what it is that you're missing to learn, right? What it is that you want to learn, and how could they facilitate that for you, right? Right, so before you talk to anyone, make sure, right? Fuck, so are we not getting our logs here now? Shit. $25th, yeah. I just feel I would learn a lot more if I had a mentor, senior front-end dev. I think generally working in a team, right? No matter if person in your team is a senior or junior, is definitely beneficial, right? I'm a tech lead at the company where I work. I have 6 people in my team at Dream Data. And I think fundamentally, right, why I also would never suggest people to work from home, at least not long term, is because work is not just coding, right? So work is dealing with people, which is the hardest thing of work, is dealing with people, with your emotions, articulating yourself, figuring out gestures and stuff of other people, reading from other people's emotions, and etc., 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 right? So in simple words, first, be in the office. Second, yes, it's definitely useful to work in a bigger team on bigger projects because you learn a lot more than just writing code, right? You learn how to deal with the deadlines and pressure and people, and how to trust, put your trust into others as well and stuff, right? But in simple words, yeah, I mean, you have to it's definitely better for you, especially if you're at early age of your career. It would be better that you obviously work in a place where you can also work with other people, right? Now, there is a beauty as well also being on your own, and you can learn a lot of stuff by being on your own. You can learn different types of skills by just having nobody to rely on. In those circumstances, you can also learn a lot because everything falls on you, and that's also a beautiful burden that can give you a huge kick, right? So it's also being alone, right, and being the only responsible can teach you many things, right? I would 100% advise people to not work remotely, right? I've spent 5.5 years in total. When I worked at the bootcamp, when I was working as a teacher, I worked remotely, and it's very psychologically damaging to people, right? I know that a lot of people today, they're very excited about it because they never had opportunity to do it before, and they're very emotional about it, and they're fighting about it, right? But at the end of the day, right, work is done with people, right? Exactly. I mean, again, whenever I'm talking about anything, I'm talking generally. I'm not saying that there isn't someone out there who can work fully remotely and be happy. Of course, there are people like that. But if we talk in general, I think most people are meant to be with other people, right? Actually, I think this error thing that we've added doesn't actually do anything. At least I'm not reading any logs, right? 100%, 100%. I think Cookie and Emmanuel, right? It really boils down to how your team is, how the structure is, and stuff like that. I spend a lot of time working remotely as well. Most of those suggestions are for at least people who are early in their careers, who never had a chance to actually sit with people, work with people, learn from other people, right? So in simple words, if you don't have the experience, right, you 100% want to be in the office as much as you possibly can, right? Gallantly, let me see what you asked, man. I'm very sorry. I think I missed it. My main problem with comps and overall is that they always take a month or two or something, you know. Alright, so Gallantry is asking, my main problem with comp science overall is that I always take a month or two or sometimes even more on a specific subject. I completely stop it or change it because someone told me to, blah, blah. I think you're basically suffering. I think you're suffering from the Twitter God syndrome, as I call it. You're suffering from the syndrome of influence of people who probably, for the most part, don't build anything, right? So I think you're suffering basically from this syndrome of streamers and YouTubers who are just saying things out of the blogs and shit, but they don't really build things, right? I'll tell you a secret of software. The secret of software is building things, right? Average user, I've said this a million times, when a user goes to Amazon, user doesn't give a shit which language you used to build this crap, which front end, back end, this and that. They don't genuinely care. They care that it's implicitly, inherently fast, that it works, that they can purchase things in 3 clicks and stuff like that. So imagine that you buy 3 different hammers, and you're just constantly now wondering which hammer should you use to put the nail in the wall, right? And then you procrastinate there for 3 days thinking, should I put a nail in this wall with this hammer or that hammer? But fundamentally, it doesn't make any difference. It can be a $5 hammer, $500, or $5 million, right? So in simple words, I think your problem is that you fundamentally have to understand that programming always changes. There's always better and worse languages every year now. And the only thing that matters is that you enable yourself to be able to build things. If you buy the best jigsaw or the best hammer or whatever shit, and you don't build anything with it, then nobody cares, right? So what is my answer to your question? Well, the question is learn something and build things, man. Which language it is it nodejs or C# or Java or whatever, it's completely irrelevant. Half of the internet at least still runs on PHP and WordPress. Probably every second website on the planet is running on WordPress, and it's doing just fine, right? The biggest tech magazine in the world, TechCrunch, is running on WordPress. This website is still running on WordPress, right? And probably making more money than all of us in this chat we're gonna make in our lifetime, right? I did, exactly, Anton. I did, yes. So that's gallantry how it is, right? If I'm you, I would focus on just building things, right? That's what I would do. And not worry too much what some Twitter heroes say, right? Okay, so now we're actually getting back some of the logs, right? So let's actually see. So if I try to follow somebody now, are we actually gonna get anything meaningful? Fuck no. Okay, so now we're back to where we were, right? Rigo, thank you very much, buddy, for being here. I'll hopefully catch you up tomorrow or any other time when you're around. All right, I'll fix this off stream, this follow shit. I'm super distracted now. But just going back, I don't know if Gallantry is still here. Gallantry, learn one thing well, and then you'll be able to learn any other thing well in 3 minutes, right? So learn the patterns, learn all of those frameworks and tools and compilers, and all of this shit is the same crap all the time, right? I mean, no matter what you choose, right? You have to do it really well. That's the point, right? I mean, there's no secret, right? I'm a huge realist in life, right? I'm not pessimist or optimist or any shit. Life is very simple, man. You just have to be better than others. If you want to get a job, if you want to be anything, you have to put that little more effort than others, and you have to be slightly bit more better than others if you want to get a job. Now, what you're going to choose is up to you. Programming and security and network engineering are vastly different, right? I started my career as Cisco engineer, then I gave up on it because it's very static. There's very little space to advance in that career. So programming is probably still safe if you're willing, if you like doing it, if you like doing that sort of stuff, right? But you cannot be thinking too much about so many of those categories, right? Because those things are very different and they have different focus. And, you know, pick and choose one thing and stick to it, and that's it, right? Pretty much I agree with Simple Cookie. I think starting with C, C++, starting with some low-level languages is for sure definitely useful. Well, not necessarily. I mean, it is, but to a huge different degrees, right? Like programming, writing as a security expert or a data scientist, you're not a programmer, really. Yes, you're writing some code to interface with the computer, but you're not really a programmer where the emphasis of your code is perfection. For example, if you are a data scientist, the Python that you write is absolutely irrelevant. The only output of the Python code that you write, let's say as a data scientist, is the data that you get out of it. So nobody is optimizing for loops in Python if you're a data scientist, because that's not the type of code that has to work as such, right? Security as well is about learning few of the potential exploits on a specific ends, either networking layer, system level, web app, whatever API, and then writing some scripts and shell scripts and stuff that do something to that, automating some work to try to penetrate it. So it's also the code itself isn't necessarily in focus as of it has to be a perfect code. If you have ever seen if you've ever downloaded a virus, if I can call it like that, if you ever opened a JS file, C++ file of any of those kind of malicious scripts, code quality wise they suck ass for the most part, because those people are not necessarily the best programmers pattern wise. It's not that you're like care about inheritance and shit when you're writing an exploit. What you care about is that you do something, let's say to an operating system or a web page or whatever, right? So in that sense they're different whatsoever. When you're truly a programmer, meaning you're a back-end engineer, front-end embedded engineer and stuff, then your job is truly to write good quality code for other people to read, right? Like this like creator of C++, Tjorn, like he said, you know, code is written only incidentally for machines to execute, but more importantly for other people to read, right? So you're actually writing code not for the computer, but for other developers to understand, right? So that is fundamentally the difference. Like one is very heavy on code and code quality, and other two are really, or three are on the actual output of that thing. Like I managed to penetrate something, right? Etc. etc. So that's the difference, right? I need to if I can fix that. Yeah. It's like Anton, it's like discussing medicine, right? I mean, you cannot say I'm going to be a doctor. I mean, doctor of what, right? So it's the same in programming, right? It's very wide, and it's normal, right? You have to specify. You need to choose a specific thing, right? Probably probably, you know, the thing that I would advise you not to go to is DevOps and stuff like that. I think one of the first jobs which are going to be under probably, and they already are, but I think cloud has taken over almost completely, and I think one of the first jobs which are going to be having a bit of issues with all of this automation is going to be actually data science type of jobs. It's going to be DevOps types of jobs, etc., right? Any types of jobs which are really easy to automate. Front-end type of jobs, full stack type of jobs, they're very hard to automate, not from the code perspective, but they're hard to automate from the product perspective. If any of you are doing KPIs and OKRs, like objectives and key results at your work, you know how hard it is to solve problems way before you write the code, but solve the actual product problems, customer problems, before you start writing the code. And that is the difference between building those shitty front ends, is that it's not the front end itself, the code itself, that's impossible to generate, but the solutions themselves are very hard to come with, right? All right, guys, I need to round up. It's 15 past 11 here. I need to go to work tomorrow. So So let's just call it a night, call it a day. Very nice discussions. I actually didn't plan to get any work done today in the stream because I wanted us just to chat and stuff like that. So that was great. We had some very good, we had Yuri and we had the Frank, we had the stars of the stream today. A bit of trolling. Yeah. Emmanuel, pleasure meeting you again, man. And the rest of you, Galantry, Dimitrov, Simple Cookie. You need to teach me a bit of this Twitch stuff, man. I know nothing. But guys, just as yesterday, thank you for being here, making this fun. Super nice discussions. No hard feelings, anybody, I hope. You know how I am by now and how I talk and stuff. So great discussions. Yuri, if you're still there, man, thank you for being here, bro. Even if you were trolling, it was fun. Join the Discord, absolutely. And then any help is appreciated, man. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much. And I'm wishing you a great rest of the Sunday. Peace out, everybody. And I'll catch you guys up tomorrow. Good night. Good night, guys. Bye-bye. Cheers.